Quick, what can you do in 6 minutes? Snooze your alarm. Praise Helios, the god of the sun. Order flowers for your mom. Drive to the nearest McDonald's, ask for an ice cream, get told that the machine is broken, take fries. Well, let me tell you that these 6 minutes are extremely important. Every year, Surfshark publishes research called Digital Quality of Life. And this time, there's one finding that I cannot stop thinking about. Compared to last year, in 2022, people have to work 6 minutes more to afford fixed broadband internet. Which means, and I can't believe I'm saying this, globally, the internet is less affordable. Come on, guys. We can shoot cars into space, we can have a robot friend, and we might soon control machines with our minds, but we can't have affordable access to the internet?
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
This sounds unreasonable, so I just have to dig in. These 6 minutes might seem barely noticeable to you, but hear me out because there are countries where people have to spend weeks working just to log in. For example, here's this beautiful place called Ivory Coast. Sure, they get to live in an almost dreamlike nature, but an average person there has to work for 65 hours and 33 minutes a month to afford broadband internet. And that's only if you can get access to it, because quite a lot of people there don't. And then there's this country, far away in the Middle East, Israel. An average person here only has to work for 19 minutes to be a part of the digital world. That's an enormous difference. The world's poorest countries pay the most for bad quality internet. You might think that they're far away, but this divide also happens within a single country, probably within yours too. Last year, 42 million Americans didn't have access to fast internet. That's more than the full state of California waiting ages to see this YouTube video. And after researching and reading tons about it, I kept encountering this strange phrase, the digital divide. And I need to tell you about it because it has consequences for a lot of us. The digital divide is the gap between demographics and regions that have access to modern information and communication technologies and those that don't. Well, we get excited that everything, and I mean everything, is turning digital. Those who do not have access to the internet are losing more and more. Nearly half of people with 4G internet coverage remain offline, mainly due to high-cost internet access. The consequences of struggling to get fast and affordable internet could last a lifetime. Remember the start of the COVID pandemic? Yeah, me neither. Well, as all of us vaguely remember, bars, public spaces, and schools were shutting down. We turned our lives digital. And here's where the deepening of the divide began. Because the quality of education depends on your access to remote learning. Low-income Black and Hispanic students lost so much more learning time. And learning means earning more in the future. We need all people on the internet. A 10% increase in broadband penetration would have resulted in an average annual increase of 269,000 jobs. Internet, money, jobs, economic growth. Pretty simple, right? The weird part is that the number of subscriptions is growing together with the price. It sounds great in theory, but what that means is that people are cutting other expenses to be able to keep using the internet. Some of us might reach the point where there are no other expenses to cut from. So why is this happening? Why is the internet getting less affordable? The first obvious answer is the economic crisis triggered by COVID. It reduced national income in many countries around the world, making the internet less affordable. In 2021, 75 million more people in 11 low and middle income countries lost access to these affordable data plans. And as we've seen, the loss of internet access during crucial times can mean the loss of future prospects for people. But there's another important aspect. Remember the digital divide? Well, like most inequalities, its effects are worst in rural areas. Internet service providers see providing internet to poorly populated areas as too costly. Centuries ago, the digital divide was about electricity, until we decided that electricity is not a luxury. It's a utility, and work to get electricity to every household. The internet needs to be seen as a basic human right to get more affordable. And here's where some good news comes in.
Good news, everyone!
Governments started to fight this problem. Take, for example, the US. The new infrastructure bill that was introduced this year includes $65 billion for broadband deployment. In the best case scenario, the country will take all the innovative solutions, from wireless to satellite, and will help millions of Americans finally join us in the 21st century. And this new affordable connectivity program is set to help low-income people pay for high internet costs. And the US is not the only country trying to get affordable internet access to people. So is Canada. So is Europe, even creating awards for best broadband deployment projects. So there is hope, because there are so many benefits to having everyone on the internet. It makes healthcare more accessible as more and more Americans and others are turning to remote doctors' appointments. It grows the economy as digitally connected small businesses are 3 times more likely to create jobs, and it might help us fight inequality too. And a lot more countries could do this. Our research found that GDP doesn't necessarily determine the development of e-infrastructure. 26 countries that we've looked at have lower than average GDP and higher than average e-infrastructure. And from everything I've talked about since now, and yeah, I talked a lot, it benefits all. So the one thing that we need to change is to stop seeing the internet as a luxury. It's the extension of our lives, our health, and our work. If the state of your digital life interests you, head to our full research. There are just so many exciting and unexpected conclusions that you could spend the whole evening clicking and exploring. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because I'll keep updating you every week.